In a world obsessed with perfection, you must embrace your foolishness to unlock your brilliance. Surrender your fears and don't be afraid to be the fool. Throughout history, the fool was seen as a clown, looked down and laughed at. The hired act, known mainly for satire and comedy, was in fact wisdom in disguise. In courts and castles, jesters would tell hidden truths behind humor. They brought worldly insight to the masses in a way no one else could express. They had knowledge of their kingdom's ongoing success, its perpetual failures, and everything in between. When they listened, they were intent. When they watched, they were thorough. They studied extensively before ever speaking, practiced diligently before every act. Information was their livelihood. They had the will to learn and the freedom to express, never fearing to try new material. They listened to understand their surroundings, watched to know their audience, knew their friends from their foes. They became experts of their world under the guise of being fools. The perseverance to prepare, the humility to stand out, the courage to execute. They were the underdogs of their time. The takeaway: you become stronger when you attest to being weak. Better when you admit to being at your worst. Wiser when you accept being the fool. Picture yourself being invited to a discussion filled with renowned experts and respected intellects. You're wired to prove you belong, that you can hold conversation. Don't. Instead, decide that you're the least knowledgeable. Humble yourself. Listen first, ask second, and talk last. In a room of highly accomplished individuals, ego will pollute the air. They will bark, they will bite. But when complicated topics surface, most will fear to ask for clarification or elaboration in an effort to preserve their esteem. The fool, however, does not care about pride and self-image. What matters is answers. The fool is not afraid to be the idiot. He will make a fool of himself in the pursuit to understand. Ironically, in that pursuit, the fool would have asked questions many wanted answered. In that pursuit, he will also inspire others to ask their questions. When you embrace being the fool, you engage in endless learning and limit rash decisions. The approach encourages open-mindedness and discourages arrogance. A closed mouth gathers no feet. This is the secret that will take you to unimaginable heights. As Richard Branson said, the fool is a precursor to the savior. Being the fool is a necessary step to creating change. Thrive not by knowing the answer, but by listening, learning, and experimenting without fear. When you're surrounded by experts, do yourself a favor. Take the role of the fool. Be curious, be unconventional, and most importantly, invite critique. The richest insight comes not from showing how much you know, but from being open and listening to what you don't. When you're the questioneer, you dive deeper than the surface. Each question peels back another layer, revealing something completely new. You'll avoid mistaken assumptions and uncover more beneath the obvious. This is the true gift of the fool. Every expert once knew nothing in their field. What sets them apart? They asked, they wondered, they explored. Real power isn't in the answers you give, but in the questions you ask. You're not just a student in a classroom. You're a student of life. It's a continuous journey where the world is your classroom and every experience a lesson. It's not about collecting praise, degrees, or accolades. It's about being a lifelong learner and embracing growth every day. A mindset where you're constantly evolving, adapting, and expanding your horizons. Think about those who made history, who are changing the world today. People like Leonardo da Vinci, Marie Curie, or modern innovators like Elon Musk. What sets them apart? They never stopped learning. They saw life as an endless opportunity to absorb, to question, to challenge. They learned the basics, and they redefined them. Look at everything as an opportunity to learn. A book, a conversation, problems. Each a spring-loaded lesson. Be curious about the world around you. Ask questions and seek new knowledge. And challenge the status quo. The goal isn't to know everything. It's to understand that there is more to learn. The mentality of the fool starts from a place of humility. Be hungry, but stay humble. Your journey as a lifelong learner will lead you to extraordinary places. It's a path filled with wonders, insights, and endless possibilities. Embrace it and watch your world expand. The reason you have 2 ears and 1 mouth serve as a reminder to listen twice as much as you speak. Listening is a skill, one that's often overlooked. In a world where everyone wants to be heard, being the one who listens sets you apart. It's not passive, it's an active, powerful choice. Where you really listen, you understand better, you connect deeper. Instead of planning your next point, fully engage with the speaker's words. What are they saying? What's the context, tone? The court's gestures were in high demand because they had an additional characteristic. They were extremely attentive. This trait was also what made them incredibly captivating. Effective listening builds stronger relationships. It shows that you value and respect the opinions of others. In turn, people notice that you're truly being heard. They open up more, share more, trust more. It's in these moments that your relationships, both professional and personal, will thrive. Fools are often ridiculed for being unconventional. How could he do that? What is he thinking? But a trained fool is rarely insulted. The wisest people often say the least and listen the most. It's easy to react with emotion when someone insults you and your immediate instinct is to retaliate. Don't. Take lessons from the fool and tame your anger, but acknowledging them and still choosing the appropriate response. In both professional and private settings, emotional discipline makes all the difference. It turns conflicts into conversations and misunderstandings into understanding. Maintaining composure isn't a display of weakness. It's unrivaled self-discipline. You're the shepherd of your emotions. Never relinquish control over them. Emotional discipline is understanding how to tame your frustrations in all areas of your life. Playing the fool doesn't mean being ignorant. It's a clever kind of practice, a strategic way to observe, learn, and respond. The fool is a symbol of hunger and humility. The most dedicated of fools become the greatest of masters. They study extensively first and execute vigorously second. They aren't afraid to question, jest, or challenge. History doesn't repeat, but it often rhymes. Don't be afraid to be the fool, and you will surely have the last laugh.